Hello, everyone. This is John from AE Packmule, and today we're going to talk Game of Thrones Season 8 with Rhee Venjenz. And guess what, guys? That's not her real name. I thought her name was really Rhee Venjenz. No, just no, this is awesome. We're going to continue our daily live streams. I do apologize for missing on Thursday and Friday. That was totally my fault. So we're going to have to start over and do 30 more days. How's that sound? But we're gonna discuss Game of Thrones season 8 with Rhee and talk about it. Would you like to say, well, first of all, let me just say thank you for your patience. You guys are awesome. I can't believe there's so many people here already. Would you do me a favor and welcome Rhee with some fire emojis, because she is red hot today down in Florida. We've got Danny McKay, Broken Birds, Frank Markopoulos, thank you for being here. Bubba Husky is here. Travis Michael, The Dog Show, I do appreciate you being here. Danny McKay is almost always the first one here. Bobby Canelano, also a Floridian, so thanks for being here. The Imagination Realm, Carrie Neves, and Bubba Husky. I don't know if I remember saying your name before, but welcome. Carrie McDonald is here, also part of the crew. And I know Johnny Be Crazy was here earlier. And I think that's it. But, oh, well, the Cylon Johns are always here. So whether they're here in the chat or just in spirit, I do appreciate it. Ain Butler Smith is here. Shayna 83, Shay Mocha herself. Tina Sarah is also here. Thanks again, everybody. Linda Smith is also here. Thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, so many people. Rhee, would you like to say hello to everybody? Because they're all welcome you with those fire emojis. And let us know what's been going on with your channel. And how in the hell did you get involved in Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, and don't forget T-Baby too. And I
no way, how did I forget T-Baby?
I know, right?
Super heart emojis. Yes.
Yeah. Hi everybody, how you doing? I am Rhee Venjenz, or just Melissa. I'm the Melissa girl on Facebook. Let's see, and it's great to be spending St. Patrick's Day with all you guys today. And it's an honor to be talking with you today, AU. I've been waiting to talk to you for a long time. And yeah, how did I get into Game of Thrones? You know what? I remember reading the first book like years ago, like when it first came out. And then it just kind of got brushed to the side because there wasn't another book. And then like completely forgot about it. And then the show came out and I watched the show and I got hooked when Ned lost his head and I was done for. And then I've actually been around on YouTube since, I'm going to say I've been active in the comments since 2014, but I've been on a little bit before then. And I came onto YouTube because I wanted to know about the history and lore more. Because, yeah, I'm kind of a history nerd. I'm just going to say it like that. And there just wasn't enough information to make me happy. I had to know more. And they couldn't put it out fast enough. And it just kind of went from there. And I actually found Roris first. She was my first one. And then Gemma. And I was done for. So,
well, those two, I could see why it would be overwhelming when you see those two. They do great work. I just love both of them. So that's really awesome. So as far as the genre of Game of Thrones, is this something that you've been following before?
We're having that a little bit before.
Am I freezing again?
Yeah, it wasn't.
I'm sorry.
Bad, no. It was just a little bit.
I'm doing the robot. No, yeah. I was just asking in regards to Game of Thrones, is this a genre that you've been familiar with before?
Oh, yeah. No, actually, yeah, no, this is a long time. Like, I grew up, let's just say I started with Star Wars in the womb. Like, no joke. My mom's seen Star Wars, the original one, when she was pregnant with me. And my dad, I remember watching Superman when my mom was at the hospital having my brother with my dad. and just all the fantasy genre in general, like Legend. I remember seeing that as a kid. Just all of it. It's just something I've always really been into. I actually wanted to go to college to be an archaeologist to prove that dragons really existed. That's something a lot of people don't know about me. And then it kind of turned into that as I went along, that I wanted to be more of a historian, researcher type, because I just like learning about everything. Like, I just really love history and myth and lore and just everything that goes with it, And I just, and then kids come along, so I kind of got distracted a little, Speaking of, kids come along. Yeah, she's got to peek in there too.
No, come. You can say hi.
Say hi. You want to say hi?
Hi. I got a little doll. That's a color changer.
Nice.
I need cold water to color change it, and to color change it back to this, I need hot water. And
I hope that one really does color change. She got one last time that she swore was for water, and it wasn't.
Tell her I love her shirt.
Oh, he said he loves your shirt.
Thank you. My grandma got it for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's got a cool grandma.
She buys me everything.
All right, go play. She loves to crash my streams. I asked her if she wants to do some Game of Thrones predictions with me, and she says she does because she loves it.
Oh,
she hears the dragons from the other room and comes running in because she loves to watch them like burn everything.
I don't know how you do that. My wife wouldn't even let me watch it sometimes. So I don't know how you do that with your daughter young.
She knows when, if she sees anyone even act like they're gonna just kiss. She's like,
yep. Exactly.
Like, I don't even want to see it. It's gross,
yuck,
Mom.
Yuck.
But I want to see them like go and burn everybody. So yeah, that's my little Khaleesi right there, and she's proud of it too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
So many new people have come in the chat as well. So I do appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Smash that like button if you don't mind. Definitely helps the channel. In regards to the content, when you first saw it, were you hooked from like the very first episode?
I kind of was, because it just was my sort of thing. And my husband's seen the previews and he's like, yeah, you're going to have a new show to watch. And True Blood just ended. So I kind of left that one. And I just I love fantasy. I love all the fantasy. And, and I watched the trailer and I was like, okay, you have my attention. And right off the get-go, and I mean, come on, Sean Bean, I remembered him from Lord of the Rings and stuff too, And it got me from the get-go. And I actually watched a lot of them. We kind of turned it into a thing where I would go to my best friend's house every Sunday and we started watching them together. And I've done that almost every season. It was kind of weird last season not watching them with her. And I keep trying to get her to do reaction videos with me, but she doesn't like the camera. So she's like, no. But I think it would be fun for her to, because she has some good reactions too. But it became kind of an event for us, But but the moment they killed Ned Stark, I knew it was unlike anything I ever seen. It's like, this is not just your ordinary type. They're going after the throne, and this has got some nice twist to it. Plus, I liked a lot of the characters at this point. I had already fell in love with Arya and even Cersei, and Jaime at this point, I did not. I thought he was like Prince Charming from Shrek, like everybody else, I'm sure. And I'm just like, who is this ass? And now Jaime is probably one of, if not my favorite characters.
Wow.
Which is just a total 180. And it's came a long way from me in the whole development of it. And yeah, and then I found out that there was a whole nother level to Game of Thrones. And that was about the time that I found Preston Jacobs. And yeah, that's when
Theories galore, right?
Yeah, that's when I really got ruined. And I started reading the books, and it's like, wait a minute, there's more to this going on. And yeah, that rabbit hole still hasn't stopped. I'm still like going on theories all the time. I keep thinking of more stuff.
Yeah, you could really get yourself carried away. I think T Baby will attest to that. Your mind just goes crazy. Muscle Car Appraisal, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Great channel, by the way. If you really do like muscle cars, and that's one of my faves. So.
Oh yeah, muscle cars are dope. Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
It's funny how being in Florida. By the way, Rhee's lives not too far from where I used to live, about 70 miles, I guess,
Yep.
an hour away. And it's so funny because I see the cage pool in her background, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's Florida. That's definitely Florida.
We got to keep the mosquitoes out, is what it is.
Exactly.
And the frogs.
Nobody
the frogs
understands
out of the pools. And actually, because there's a pond behind us, my mom has a huge problem with water moccasins. She's kind of become a professional snake killer.
Yeah.
And she now hates them.
You have to be, because they're there and there's nothing you could do about them. And what happens is whenever somebody builds something around you, it chases them towards you, and it causes you to get an influx. So
well, that's what happened here. And these woods right here, right behind her house is the only protected spot.
Uh-oh. I think I'm stopped. By the way, Muscle Car Appraisal just did a video with a bunch of I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're okay. And that way is like the major highway that goes through.
Gotcha.
So it's like, yeah, that's the only woods left. We get wild turkeys and deer and everything that just go right there. And gators, you name it.
The house where I grew up, my brother lives there now, and he has the same thing. He always gets deer and wild turkeys. That seems to be a good thing.
I actually have a cousin that gets paid to go like hunt wild hogs when they start building up to keep them out of the neighborhoods.
Sure, keep those ferals down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Muscle Car Appraisal did a great video of a Kissimmee museum that had a bunch of great cars. So check that out if you guys like that genre as well. But we're here to talk about Starks and Lannisters and Targaryens. Oh my.
And I will mention, speaking of cars really quick though, right on 10 there is a car museum that has Batmobile in it.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been there a few times actually. It's pretty cool. Yeah, no, I get into the cars. I used to go to all the car shows too.
Yeah, we have
the
LeMay
area. It kind of happens.
Exactly. Yeah, here I was really excited. We just got a brand new museum. Well, it's been 4 years now, but it's called LeMay's Car Museum, and it is big as a football field, and it's several levels, so it's absolutely beautiful.
Oh wow, yeah, that would be
right next to the Tacoma Dome. So, anyways, back to Lannisters.
Yes.
What I'd like to do is go through the houses real quick and see which ones you think are going to survive from the different houses. So we're going to start with my favorite, the Starks. We've got Bran, we've got Sansa, we've got Arya, maybe a Jon. Any one of those that you think are going to live?
Okay, I'm going to tell you my feelings because I've got feelings and opinions on all of them. All right. Oops,
we're going to go through all of them pretty quick. So, I mean, not to get too deep, because otherwise you're going to get the encyclopedia.
I ain't going to get too deep. Yeah, and I'll turn all encyclopedia here on you. Hang on, I'm dropping stuff here. Okay, so Arya, I think, kind of fits the best role as Night Queen. I think that's what all her training has been. I think she has been training to join death. She is a Stark. I think it just suits best. And they do talk about, like Jon said, about finding her at the end of winter with Needle and everything. Frozen, and that could make sense, but that doesn't mean that he can't raise her to go join. I mean, she would be the perfect commander to join the Night King. And if he is coming for someone, why not her? You know, Bran, I
you
think
would probably like my video that I did of Arya Stark's endgame. Check that out when you get a chance.
Okay. I love everything you do. Hey, I just want to say that. And
now I'm
Bran,
gonna blush for the rest of the live stream.
Bran, I think kind of has to live because I think he has to be the balance. About him being the Night King, yeah, no. The whole ink is dry, the past is written. I think that's not meant that he can't change the past. I think he has to change stuff going forward. He can affect what's happening, what he's doing going forward, you know, not going backwards. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I totally agree.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But I think that there has to be balance with everything. Jon, he's already died once, so it just doesn't seem like he should live through it all. You know, it doesn't seem like he's meant to live. I think he was risen for a reason. So his end game, I just really don't. I wish, but no. Sansa, I think, is meant to be on the throne. I think that's her end game. In fact, I'm going to kind of tie in a Lannister here and say I think that when Tyrion gets with her, he said before, I mean, she told him back in season, what was it, 2?
What if I don't ever want to be with you?
Or 3. What was it after? Well, it was after her family was killed. It was in season 3, the finale. I go to the Godswood because it's the only place where nobody talks to me. So I think when he gets to Winterfell, he's going to know to go meet up with her there. They're going to go, you know what? Cersei's got to be dealt with. And that's who's going to go and deal with Cersei. And if he they're still married. If he puts an heir in Sansa's belly, then that secures the Lannister throne and the Stark throne for Sansa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I think is going to happen with the Starks.
Yeah, well, that kind of matches with the picture that Game of Theories with Marie sent me. We did that video of the live stream. I don't know if you got a chance to see that picture.
Yeah, me and Marie actually will be doing one with Stacy next week on Dunk and Egg, and we're going to be doing one about the Blackwoods coming up too, with their tie-in with the Starks and all. That one's going to be like probably a couple of them because it's going to be me, her, Stacy, and Branwick Blackwood. So that's going to be good.
Nice, yeah, yeah.
So,
the interesting thing about the Blackwoods is that they have done something really, really bad in the past because. You figure, why would the Starks put up with the Boltons and not the Blackwoods? You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, but have they really? Because the Starks have like destroyed houses before. Why just exile them? I mean, there has to be a little more to it. Maybe they were put in place for a reason instead of just exterminated, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It just, there just is a little more to the Blackwoods than what we think. So that's the connection, you know?
Very cool.
Yeah. So we've been working as a little big group on that one there for a minute.
Nice. I'll be looking forward to that one.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a great one. And Stacy, turns out, has never done Dunk and Egg, so we're going to do that one like in the next week.
Very
just
cool.
Because.
It's funny, we were just talking about the strong name that Qyburn gave the mountain, and wouldn't you know it, Joe Magician and
I've seen that.
The Disputed Lands both did videos on the Strong family, and it's from the connection with Fire and Blood, which we know it was there and it was deep, and that's why George planted that seed. It's just a perfect example of how George allows that story to grow and then present it.
But you know what? I think this was my only issue with it. I agree to an extent, and I agree about them being the Stark cousins, but I think that they are more Baratheon. I think the Strongs went into the Baratheons, especially with the line about the seed being strong, because that is specifically mentioned with the Baratheons. So
yeah, I definitely don't think it has anything to do with the Starks. It's just the funny combination between what we talked about the other night on the live stream, and then the video just popped.
Right.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was. I seen them, both of them. It was. I was like, I sent it to Maria. I was like, did you see this?
Very cool.
It was.
So speaking of Baratheons, can we just touch on Gendry? First of all, do you think Stannis is dead?
Yeah, because I do. Yeah, I do. Okay, yeah, we're doing show only, right?
Of course,
so,
of course,
okay.
yeah, because he's
because books would be a whole nother story. Yeah. I do think Stannis is dead because I can't see Brienne not doing it. Whether or not we will see Stannis again is a whole nother story because I don't see her burning his body. I see her just kind of killing him and leaving him there with all the other fallen soldiers. Because really, who did the cleanup for that? Nobody. And yeah, what about all those bodies from that battle? You know?
Well, they had to do some. I think they had to do some cleanup because Jon would never let one stay in this. You know.
Oh no, I'm not talking about one. I'm talking about when Stannis went
right? But that's all the same. You know, that's when Jon took over. I guess is what I'm saying, and that's when he would have done the.
By the time Jon got there, they could have been all covered in snow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
good point.
Yeah, so that's what I keep thinking is, you know, all the bodies that'll rise from the snow. And that could actually be kind of interesting when he rides up if he did that. That'd be cool. That'd be creepy. Yeah, I don't think so.
So Stannis is dead.
Storm's End. I do think that he is Cersei's son, though.
Me too.
I've thought
too much evidence, right?
Yeah, there is, and you know what? I think that's why I think Ned sent him to the wall. I think that's why he got sent to the wall, and I think that's what made Ned kind of like when Ned was talking to him, because I think he knew he was Robert's bastard already, but it was when he started talking about his mother, and then he kind of looked at him weird and left. I think he realized that's Cersei's kid. Let's get rid of him.
Yeah.
Because he knew who Jon was. Why would he want Cersei's legitimate child in the way of Jon? So
couldn't agree with you more.
Right. So I think that was to get Gendry out of Jon's way.
Yeah, I think Jon Arryn is the one that laid the groundwork for Ned to find him and basically say, you know, this is what we got to change. Now, obviously, in the books, it's totally different, you know, because we have Edric Storm protected, you know, at Dragonstone. So quite a bit different. So we've got the Baratheons. We've talked about the Starks. How about the Lannisters? We've got Jaime. We have no children. We have Cersei, of course, and then we have Tyrion.
Cersei, let's start with her. Well, yeah, and I was talking about that. I do think Tyrion and Sansa will orchestrate her death. They might have Sansa and the Hound with her when this happens to kind of deal with the mountain, I think. And I think that she is going to get stabby in the belly because it needs to come full circle to the Red Wedding. And that's what happened with Talisa.
Stabby.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that has happened. Tywin got the crossbow. Walder Frey got the throat slit like Catelyn. Roose got stabbed in the stomach too. Everything's happened except for what happened to Talisa with a stab in the pregnant belly, you know? So I think it's just what's meant to happen. And then the Red Wedding would be fully avenged, I think. And of course, Sansa is the younger, more beautiful queen. And she trained her herself. Here's the other thing. Everyone likes to forget that Cersei once had them beautiful rose-colored glasses on, and she had them princess dreams just like Sansa did about marrying Rhaegar and all that other stuff. So she was just like Sansa once upon a time until she got broken, just like Sansa got broken. So she trained her, you know. It just seems fitting that that's the way it should happen. And as far as Jaime, Jaime, I think, is meant to be the Kingslayer. I think that even if Jon does fight him, I think it will be Jaime, even if he pulls like a Howland Reed sort of thing, and we kind of see like what happens with when Ned and Howland Reed go up against Arthur Dayne. I think that could happen. I think he will be protecting Jon because that's what he promised Rhaegar. And I think Brienne's actually going to be the one to die in Jaime's arms. I hate to say it. I think it's going to be the other way around. And I think he's going to end up writing about her in the White Book. And he's already talked to Jon in the first season about with the whole Night's Watch about, is it We Are Ready? So I think that's his fate, is to continue being the new Night's Watch.
Moni G just dropped a pretty cool thing. She says she gets excited about Cersei sneaking out of town. You know how she does her barmaid or tavern wench costume?
Yeah.
I never thought about that because I just see her standing in King's Landing, like her defiance, you know. But I never even thought about that. But that's an interesting possibility.
That is actually, I like that idea, Moni.
Leave it to Moni.
Yeah. I know Moni's great, isn't she? Oh, there it is. Okay. That kind of reminds me of something else. And I know we already talked a little bit about the Starks, but speaking of with the Golden Company, because we're talking about Cersei too, I think she's gonna lose them, and I think it's gonna be to Jon. And I've said this for a very long time, and maybe now it'll like happen. I think Longclaw is Blackfire.
Yeah, there's something there, isn't there?
Well, I think hang on, Emma, hang on. Oh no, I'm good, baby. Thank you. She's trying to bring me a donut. She's so sweet. Okay.
I'll have a donut.
I know, right? It was Krispy Kreme. She has some Krispy Kreme. I love her. So I think Jorah Mormont was full of it. He was just full of it. I'm not buying that Jorah, who was married to a gold digging Lenise Hightower, that he was willing to catch poachers and sell them, that he wouldn't sell a Valyrian sword. That he still had any honor to go back and see his daddy and face his daddy at the wall where he could have went there. I'm sure Ned would have let him go to the wall instead of being beheaded. Sure. And I'm sure if he went to the wall, that they would have kept his ass there and been like, "Nah, you ain't going nowhere." I don't see it happening. Jorah Mormont had that sword there. That's why they covered the pommel and put ghosts on it to disguise it. And then it's going to come out. Watch. That's why Jorah looked at him crazy whenever he tried to give it back to him. He knew what it was. And I think that's going to be, I think that's like his proof. You know, everyone's like, oh, we're going to see Lyanna's grave get desecrated and find Rhaegar's harp or something. Why? And it's a bastard sword. That's what Blackfire is. And that's all it would take for the Golden Company to follow him, is to see Blackfire. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I think everybody's missing the point of the Tower of Joy sequence in regards to Arthur Dayne and Went being killed, and the whole thing. I mean, it lines up perfectly with Qhorin Halfhand and Mance Rayder.
Yeah.
Jorah Mormont being at the wall to be there. Benjen going there to protect him and being the ranger that he is. Just all of those things oh my gosh. Laughing Shadows here. Thank you so much for coming.
Love. Hey. I know we got all the
long time
people today.
Yeah, Air Touch Altanos is also here. Thank you, my friend.
Wow.
That was amazing. I really do appreciate you guys so much. This is a great Sunday. So happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. I just really having a good time talking Game of Thrones Season 8 with Rhee Venjenz. If you guys haven't checked out her channel, make sure you do that. The links are in the description below. And we're talking Game of Thrones, how it's going to end, who's going to die, who's going to live. We're so excited about Season 8. So let's get going. Yeah, I didn't really want to get into that whole Tower of Joy, but that is one of the things that just triggers me so much. It's like the evidence is overwhelming for everything to be in place for Jon. It's just
now. I got a question to pose to you, because this is something I've thought since like day one, because it just seems to make more sense to me. Do you think that the Tower of Joy could be the Broken Tower?
I don't know about. I don't know why that would be a specific thing. I'm not seeing the connection. So
this is why I think it's the Broken Tower, and I've always thought this, because it started with the Broken Tower. That's where Bran fell. That's where he found Cersei. We hear about Bell the Bard. They wouldn't have to. It would explain why, like, supposedly they tore it down to make graves for the bodies and all that.
Right.
And plus, what's the point of hearing the whole story of Bell the Bard? Anyways, we know that they could hide in the crypts for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just all seems to fit, and everything. The dragon in the books during Bran's chapter, where Summer sees it flying out, the winged snake flying out of the Broken Tower. It just all seems to fit. But everything, and even Sansa lighting the candle on the show, go light it in the Broken Tower. It just always seems to come back to the Broken Tower.
I think because it's in Dorne, the Tower of Joy is in Dorne. I think that's a better location, especially the timeline when Ned goes from Storm's End to King's Landing to Storm's End, and then to the Tower of Joy. It's a much more progressive thing. Plus, he also uses Brandon Stark's his squire to get him to the Tower of Joy. So I think that combination of those parts of the story are accurate. So
right.
I'm not seeing the Broken Tower as the connection, but
it's
I see what you're saying.
It's just all those memories, because his memories, he can't remember anything, but he remembers that. You know what
he
I mean?
remembers it because he's told himself in his mind that, so that over and over again, so that if he's ever questioned about it, he will be able to answer it correctly, because he understands interrogation.
Right. Okay, I see your point there. I like that. What was I going to ask? Do you think Dorne's out of the picture completely?
In the show?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, this is a D&D thing, just like Stannis. It's just them not liking the storyline, not being able to produce the show without cutting some corners, and I think that's what they did.
The only thing that makes me kind of hold on to hope a little bit is Oberyn did mention he had 8 daughters to Cersei back once upon a time when they were walking by the fountain. And I kind of still hold hope that Bronn will kind of go free of Arya, and maybe save Tyrion if he can get to her in time, but I don't think that might happen. But I'd kind of like
his time with that bad stuff, man. He's not going there.
But he likes that bad pussy, remember?
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, let's not explore that, because I think that's a dead end, 100%. I really do.
I'll never give up on Dorne. Not till the show ends. I won't give up. I can't do it.
We'll have to make that a new show.
Right.
That'll be on Sci-Fi Channel.
That it should be. They should just
the never-ending
Dorne. Right? See, and I thought about it too. If winter came to Dorne, you know what it would be? It'd be rain.
Exactly.
Right?
No kidding. So we've got the Lannisters covered, the Starks covered, the Baratheons covered. Who is the next house that you want to cover?
We can do the Greyjoys.
Oh, yes. The family that wasn't even supposed to be there from the beginning, George added to the story for a great point. And look who else is here. Gray Area. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, Gray.
So glad that you came by. She just dropped a really cool video in regards to Jaime's werewood dream when he was sleeping on a werewood stump. And it's funny because I commented on her video that we had talked about that when Gemma and her were on my channel. And I was curious as to whether they thought it was actually Winterfell, the Crypts of Winterfell, or whether it was really Casterly Rock, because, you know, at the Rock, you have all those mines, and, you know, Jaime wasn't really feeling comfortable as far as that being there. So, yeah, thank you so much for Gray for coming by. I really do appreciate it. Can't wait to have you on the channel again. But yeah, as far as the Greyjoys, who do you like coming out of that house?
You know, it's kind of weird because I kind of dig the Greyjoys in certain ways for certain reasons. I think of them like, well, it's because we don't have the Valerians for one, but I think of them like as like the Navy on Game of Thrones. Euron, I think, is totally going to die at Theon's hand. I think that's Theon's redemption. Yara, I think it's really odd that we haven't seen her in any of the pictures or anything, but I'm kind of wondering if that was her in the one picture where we see the Golden Company, or Harry Strickland, I guess is who it is.
Yeah.
And they're trying to identify who it is next to him in front of Cersei.
The redhead.
Yeah, because it kind of could be Yara. Her hair could look a little red, and it just looks kind of like
it's kind of
Greyjoy.
long, and she also has a bun, right?
I don't remember if it was in a bun or not. I thought it was down.
Well, it comes down long in the back, but it has
right.
a top knot or whatever. I don't know what girl's hairstyle is.
No, yeah, I know what you mean by the top knot. Yep, yeah. Okay.
It looks more like something Sansa would wear.
Right. Okay. See, I was thinking about because of the way the jacket looked. Like it reminded me of like a Greyjoy sort of jacket.
Okay.
And but where is Yara at this point? You know, but she would have been on the ship too. Maybe they liberated her or something. I don't know. Or maybe they just got her. I don't know. I just can't see why a red priestess would be with them. And I would think it would be more red if it was one of them. I think they're going to come over in their own right. So I think Yara, because we haven't seen her really in any of the photos. So she's either going to be really disfigured or she's already dead. I don't think she's already dead yet, though. I think she's still alive just to taunt Theon. Like, you know, Euron's going to play with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's totally the way. He's got to go. I think Euron's going to, I don't know what's a good way. He's really going to mess with Cersei before he ain't done with Cersei. I think Cersei's going to have the table flipped on her by Euron. Like where she's always trying to be the wicked one, Euron, she ain't got Jaime there to protect her or nobody else. And I think the way he eyeballed the mountain before, he knows what's up with him. And I think he's going to know a way to manipulate him.
I just want Theon to be strong in season 8. I don't want him to be.
Too.
I don't want him to have any reek left in him whatsoever.
I
want to see him like we saw him in the first season, where he was, you know, a little bit more cocky and you know,
confident.
Yeah.
What is dead may never die. Like I for real. And come on, they pulled him out of the water like a flopping dead fish before, you know. We've seen his rebirth, we've seen his rebaptism, whatever you want to call it. Now, I want to see take back the Iron Islands, you know. And that's what I want for him. Yara, if she survives and is alive, I think she'll just be there by his side. You know what I mean? I think they'll be there together, you know?
You rhymed there.
Yeah.
You got the rapping thing going.
Yeah. I do that sometimes, you know?
That's what I want to hear. You know, Gray is great as far as making videos, but I want to hear her do some rapping. I know she can lay it down, so yeah, that would be fun. Her and Tony from Teflon TV, of course, would be a great battle rap. Oh, yeah, Theon, I definitely think is definitely 100% set for the end, right?
Oh yeah, no, I think he is too. Someone's got to rule the Iron Islands. Look at it that way. So,
and as
I
far
think
as
it's
heirs go, obviously in one of the scenes in the books, we get the King's Moot. Do you think that we're gonna have him be a problem as far as being able to produce an heir?
I think he might already have one or two out there, actually.
We said Stannis 3 times, and Teflon TV just showed up.
Oh yeah, Stannis. He's ready to do the rap battle now, is what it is. He's like, what? Okay. Glad you're feeling better, Tony.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been going around bad. Everybody's been feeling sick. I think that as far as they could have some kind of like initiate a King's Moot from now on, to where even if he doesn't have an heir, that could pass on, and maybe Yara could have an heir even if he can't. Like, maybe, I don't know. I've thought about that one, but they may decide to pass it on, like in a King's Moot democracy sort of way, like that. I could see that happening in the Iron Islands, if it's going to continue that way at all.
Yeah. It's also possible that one of his sexual encounters from the previous women he's had has produced an heir. So
maybe that's who that little boy is that we've seen in Wintertown looking at the Unsullied coming in. Could be one of Theon's.
Al Red Sox fan is here. Thank you, my friend. Also, awesome channel. Check that out. He's just a great guy. He was definitely on my channel not too long ago, so I do appreciate it. Thank you for being here, my friend. So many great people are here. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I think Yara is doomed. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
I think she's been a great character. One of the things that I really enjoyed is the casting with the Gemma Whalen character or actress as Yara, and I just think that she has such an innocent quality, and she comes across as such a badass in the show, and really enjoyed that.
Yeah, she seems like one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and then you see her on there. She's just awesome. I love it.
Yeah, her portrayal in the book is a little even a little stronger, because they give her opportunity to play the finger game.
Yeah, with the axes. Yeah, I know. I wish they would have done that in the show. I think it was Connie posted where they actually have that competition going on. I think it was in Minnesota or somewhere. It's on Geek Chat. She posted it, so check it out if you're in Geek Chat. That was kind of interesting post.
Yeah,
looks like fun.
So how about Euron? What do you think is going to happen to him?
We'll see. Aside from Theon, I do think that he's gonna bring over the Golden Company, but he ain't gonna have no control over them. He's gonna try to definitely manipulate Cersei, and he will. He's gonna have it switched around to where he thinks he's got the upper hand. But yeah, I think that's probably about the time that Theon will come in. I'd like to see the Valyrian suit of armor, but wishes and dreams and hopes ain't gonna happen always,
Right.
So I just want to see him have some really cool battle scenes at this point, and I'll be happy. And because he's just a crazy actor, and I just don't see him. I don't think we'll see a whole lot of him. I think it's going to be mostly just betrayal with him, and I don't think we'll see a whole lot.
So are we going to get?
Are we going to real him?
Are we going to see him killed by like Cersei or Theon or
Theon? It's going to be Theon. It's definitely going to be Theon. Oh yeah, 100%. And like I said, I think he's going to be he knows a way to he knows that the mountain was necromanced, and he's gonna know a way to mess with him so that he can't hurt him or something. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
So Euron is going to basically manipulate the mountain so that Euron isn't hurt. Is what you're
Right,
saying.
right.
Yeah, he's going to have the cross on his neck or something. You know,
Right.
like,
He knows what it
I'll be
is.
wearing garlic or something.
Yeah, he knows what it is. It was
Hey, garlic doesn't
surprising.
work on Frankenstein. What is it?
Right? Fire. He's gonna have fire around him. There we go. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh,
Dilly dilly. I'm waiting for that, man. I'm telling you, Bud Light commercial.
well, I don't know if you've heard my theory, but I always thought that Euron was going to hand the mountain the horn in order to call the dragons.
Yes,
And
I remember.
Everybody was going to be excited because it's going to look like the dragons are going to be in the control of Euron, but it's going to be a situation where the mountain is burned by the dragon instead. So that's my theory.
Yeah, and see that fits perfect too. And because it just makes sense. And you want to hear something weird, and I don't think they'll do this on the show, but I think that Rhaegal is actually meant to be the Lannister dragon. It just
Symbolically.
Yeah, I do. I totally think he is. I think he's meant to be.
OP.
Yeah, and when you think about the green and the gold and all too, it fits. It just all fits. It's just a matter of who. And I kind of hope that even on the show that somehow maybe Jaime or someone rides him. And
Uh-oh. Did we lose you? Or did you guys lose me?
and he's been with Jon since day one. I can see him attaching to Jon and letting Jon ride. So even if Jon can and does ride Rhaegal, why couldn't somebody else? You know? But even I just think maybe in the books I hope Cersei gets him, honestly. Because I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah.
I do apologize for the freezing. It looks like I had a little hiccup there, so I apologize for that. Probably my internet connection. So thanks for bearing with me while we do that. Sorry, Moni, didn't mean to cut you off there. And it looks like we're frozen again. Uh-oh. Is it the Night King coming at us?
Yeah. He's gonna get us.
Well, I hope that it doesn't continue, but we'll definitely work on that. I'll see if I can fix it. But in the meantime, we were talking about the different houses. So we've got the Greyjoys, we've got the Starks. We also have the Baratheons. Who else do we need to cover?
I actually
covered all of Dorne, right?
Yeah, and I actually see a good question here, and I want to address it because it brings up something I want to mention about season 8. Okay, here's the question. It says, is it possible all dragons are absent from most of the battle? And if that's the case, where do you guys think they can be? Which side is more likely to rule other side dragons away from battle? Okay, now I kind of think, and I thought this since I've seen the trailer, they're going to the Fist of the First Men. Or they're going back to the Fist of the First Men. Now, I've said this for a long time that I think that's the castle that old Nan talks about that's buried in snow. And I think they're going to go inside the Fist of the First Men. If you look at the trailer and if you look at past seasons when we see the Fist off from a distance, it is like a tall, and it's actually described as one of the drum towers. But it looks like a tall tower just covered in snow, and we think it's like a mountain or something. But it's not. So in the trailer, we see Dany and Jon actually going there. So I think that's where they're going to take the dragons, and they're going to go there looking for something to stop him or some clue to him, maybe his identity or something. Because when you think about when the horn and the dragon glass was first found there, they were cleaning it out. They blew on it. That's when the White Walkers first attacked the Fist of the First Men. If that's their stronghold, that was the castle. That was where, the clues to defeating him is, or whatever. Of course they're going to come there. But now if they're all south, then they need to go back there to find what they need to defeat the Night King, right?
Because Geek did a video the other day in regards to the filming of the trailer and that specific scene where it's the valley or the crevice.
Yeah.
And she matched it up with the veil.
The veil.
Bloody Gate.
Yeah, not that crevice though. I know which crevice you're talking about right there. I agree. I do think that is the veil. But I'm talking about where it shows them, and it does show the Fist of the First Men. And you see it, and it matches up with the earlier seasons. Like when you see Sam, and it shows when he's sitting there at the beginning, and it shows all the walkers marching towards it. Mm-hmm. And you see it off in the distance. It matches where they actually are at with the dragons.
Gotcha. I always thought that it was just Jon taking Dany there to be safe during her for childbirth.
That's that would be a great reason to go to the Vale. Yeah.
Yeah. But it could be
both.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Gray said the same thing. The same filming spot is used for the Vale and also Beyond the Wall footage. So yeah, they're definitely beyond the wall. Or the other thing too, it could be Bran and Sam telling him that there's something specific that can be used to defeat the Night King, and they have to go get it.
Right.
Obviously, with the dragons, it would be the safest way to get there and back in a quick amount of time.
Right, and the fastest way. So, and we don't see the dragons in the trailer for the battle so far. That doesn't mean that they won't show up for the battle at Winterfell, obviously.
Oh, no doubt.
If they need something prior to that, I can see this happening like maybe episode 2 or something, like episode 1, they all get there, they find out. Episode 2, oh, we need to go on a field trip, and then by episode 3, we have the battle.
We have to have a little honeymoon.
Yeah.
We need some quiet time.
Right? Still need ghosts, though.
Go watch a cartoon, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Things parents say.
Oh, right?
Sorry.
I know. My kids like YouTube. I'm like, okay, but what kind of YouTube are you watching?
Exactly.
They watch, though.
Oh, too funny. So can we talk about Targaryens? We have Jon and Dany, the aunt and nephew combination. I think we just got taken again by the Night King.
Yeah, we did. I was like, okay, we'll wait for that one.
Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
You're good now.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Harry McDonald, thank you so much for that super chat. I really do appreciate it. Totally not necessary. We are so grateful that you're here, and thanks for coming by, and I appreciate it so much. Very nice of you. If anybody has any questions, just put the @ AU Packmule. I'll be glad to answer it. Me and Moni are definitely here for you. So hopefully we'll be able to continue for a little bit longer before we're taken by the Night King. Yes, happy St. Patrick's, happy Thanksgiving, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. I hope that you're able to hear that.
About half of it. Did you call me Moni again?
No, not at all. Did
okay.
I?
You did. It's okay. I love Moni.
Moni's awesome. Yeah.
Moni is awesome.
But you're awesome in a totally different way. We are going to discuss. Can I fix my blanket? You want me to do it right now? She wants me to turn my blanket around. Can you tell me in regards to the Targaryens who you think will live, or is there anybody that you think is going to die?
Okay, see, and I do think Dany's going to die. I do. I think we're going to have a cameo from Khal Drogo too, because it was prophesied that she would see him again when, well, you know this prophecy. I'm not going to get into it again, but I do think we'll have him, if nothing else, in a cameo. Now, here's the thing. Dany could be brought back. She might only die for a moment, but she will die. What other Targaryens do we have? Can we count Varys as a Targaryen? Let's count her people. How about that?
Well, I'll go either way. I think, personally, I think it's definitely Varys and Jon and Dany. So
yeah, that's me too. We know that he's gonna. We'll see. Yeah, and Jon, like I said, he's already been brought back. So I think he's on borrowed time. I think he's kind of like the last hero sort of thing. He's got a purpose. He's going to fulfill the purpose, and that's kind of going to be it. Dany, what I'd like to see, what I think would be beautiful in a bittersweet sort of way, and this would piss a lot of people off, is because they are ice and fire sort of thing, is if they were fated to one live in the north and one live in the south apart from each other to balance the seasons. I think that would be like kind of like in Pirates of the Caribbean, like how he could only come ashore once a year or whatever, but
I don't understand I totally get the pirates understanding of
right, but okay, like if where ice and, remember how Melisandre said she did her part, she brought ice and fire together. So we have Dany and Jon, right? So, and I know he is totally ice and fire. And if you think about it, when he was beyond the wall and he fell into the water, he could have actually died by ice that time too, because who's really going to survive that? Is that little flicker in his heart of fire really going to keep him alive, or did he die by both already and come back? But I think he's on borrowed time either. But what would be even crueler, as in a bittersweet, is if they were fated to live separate from each other. If they're all in love and everything, but if they were fated to live apart from each other forever to balance the seasons. Because right now we have these extreme winters and extreme summers and all that. But then again, we also hear about how she's supposed to bring on the summer that'll never end. And that just, so maybe Jon, that don't make sense to me though. There's got to be a balance. But that would be bittersweet if for them to be in love, but yet have to be apart,
That would be really strange, but I understand why you would see that as a possibility. But as far as death goes, I think we have to have death in order to make it bitter. So I think there's going to be one or the other in regards to the show.
Right.
I don't think we're going to have both Jon and Dany live.
Right. Oh, no. That's why I said I definitely think that Jon's already lost his moment. He's on borrowed time already. He's just meant to fulfill the last hero sort of bit. And Dany, I just think she's, come on, it's already been said, she's a conqueror and a better conqueror really than she is a ruler. Now, if they have a child that's going to rule, fine, whatever. Maybe Sansa or somebody else will raise that child. But I think Sansa's the one that's meant to rule. Sansa's been the best trained to rule. I do. I think she would, with Tyrion as her hand even, or even Tyrion as king, he would be a great king. He's been doing it for how many seasons? Look back at when he was sitting at the table with Tywin when they sent Joffrey to bed, and look at how he talked to Joffrey then. He speaks like he is a king, and I just see people better fit to rule than Jon or Dany. What they do isn't always the way it should be as a ruler.
It is kind of strange that we have that combination, but I think I don't know if you were trying to get the idea that Tyrion is a Targaryen and that's why you threw them in there, but I definitely don't see Tyrion winning in any way, shape, or form with Sansa, or I think he will die at the end.
I do
which
too.
is a hard thing to take. But people like, by the way, everybody is admiring the great bird sounds in the background.
Oh, you hear my birds?
Well, one of the things that people don't understand is it's still in deep freeze in Florida. It's below 70. So when you have when you have that, you have to wear jackets and put the fireplace on and put gloves on and stuff like that when you go outside, because below 70 is freezing. All the people like Costume Co. Headey is like, it's still deep freeze up here in the land that's always winter. Yeah, I'm in a t-shirt and I'm in Seattle and it's 40 degrees outside and Rhee's got her hoodie on.
Yeah, I had the hood up earlier. I had my gloves on and I had my socks that go past my knees on.
There you go.
I was like, whoo!
Were you wearing flip-flops with the socks? That's what I want to know.
Yes, always. I got my Nike slides with my socks on.
The slides,
but my socks, right? But my socks are all Game of Thrones. I want to say that. Oh, and I actually have some cardinals that are nesting in the tree right there. There's some other birds in it too, and then we got hawks back there too that just been there for years.
That's awesome.
I like the cardinals though. Cardinals always follow me.
Nice. Well, yeah, it's beautiful sound, so that's
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah. I told Brandon Wake yesterday, I said, when they were singing, I said, do you ever feel like Snow White when the birds start singing and start singing back to him? He just started laughing at me. He's like, Rhee, you got issues, honey.
He's so awesome. I love that guy.
I do too.
Yeah, he's done such a great job on Jen's channel from Lady Wolverton when they do the book club on Thursday nights. That whole crowd is just awesome. So and most of them are here, so thanks for doing that. I appreciate it.
Oh yes, thank
you. And sorry, we're freezing again.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Varys possibly being a Targaryen. What's your theory there?
Oh yeah, no, okay. So I totally think, and I don't know if a lot of you remember, but this was about a year ago, I'm gonna say. He was on the street somewhere going red carpet. I don't remember where he was, but I remember seeing him, and he had hair that was very blonde, like he grew it out. And I was thinking, I didn't know Varys had like hair that color in real life. And then I've seen him now recently, and he really doesn't. So that makes me even more suspicious as to what's coming up in season 8 if they're going to reveal that. I've always thought that though, because why else is his intentions? I don't believe it's just as for the realm. I'm not buying that. Now, as far as where he came from, I think he probably came from, like everyone says that Illyria was probably married to Sarah Targaryen. That timeline doesn't match up. Like as in Jaehaerys and Alizane's daughter.
Right.
The timeline don't match. But here's the thing. She had a bunch of kids. So one of her kids is highly possible. And I think Varys could be from that line too, and he could be one of her spawn or their spawn, not necessarily a Blackfire proper, but a Targaryen from her, so I can see what his motivations would be, and plus it's awful reminiscent of Tyene of the Tower because of the spider,
That's a good link.
Yeah, and that one's always stuck out to me. I'm like, are we sure that they didn't have a kid? Are we sure? Just because, are we sure she didn't even get away? Just because it tells us that's how she died. I don't believe everything the Maesters say. Nobody does. Nobody that knows Maesters does. So, I mean, there could be more to that story because it's just odd that he's the only other person that's mentioned that way. So I definitely think that his intentions, I think he will lean more towards Jon than Dany once he finds out who Jon is. I think he probably has a hand in Jon. I definitely think he did a baby swap with Aegon, like the one the mountain supposedly killed. And I think that's Sam, but that's a whole nother story right there. And I think that, yeah, he's going to die, but I think he's going to die saving the little birds. I think he will die saving the children, because his concern, or his big thing has always been about children being innocent and the children are blameless. So I think that would be like the most honorable thing for him to do, would be to go out saving the kids. And we see him in the crypts with all the kids too. So I think that would
That is
be a
kind of
great
strange,
thing.
don't you think?
Yeah.
Especially after we read in the book that he used the crossbow to kill Kevin and the Grand Maester Pycelle. I think that his physical abilities are stronger than what they're portraying.
Oh, and how he's the mummer. Now, see, in the book too, I think he has a lot of ties to the faceless men.
Ooh, that I wouldn't have put together.
Oh yeah, no, the way he can change faces and all his different mummer skills and everything. And yeah, no, I definitely
But
think
mummer skills are different than faceless men, aren't they? I mean, that's theater training.
Right, but where did they send Arya? They send her to the theater to train, don't they?
That's your interpretation. I'll totally respect it, but I definitely
Oh,
think
oh no, I get more into it. I'll have to talk about that sometime soon,
okay.
because yeah, no, I totally, like, we were talking about that not long ago. Yeah, no, I'll be talking about that one soon. We're going through, me and Brian, this is another thing we were doing, because we were talking about werewolves. We're going to do the 7, and then we're going to do R'hllor, and then we're going to do the Faceless Men. And of course, that's going to cover all of the God of Death and many-faced gods and all that. So that one's going to be a bigger one, which is why we saved it. So he's been sick, and I've been doing a lot of moving stuff. So
yeah, that's
we've
always,
got a lot of
that
stuff.
life stuff is no fun, is it?
Yeah, I know, right? It just
Speaking of which, I should tell you guys that tomorrow I start jury duty. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to live stream tomorrow. So I do want to let you guys know ahead of time. I don't know that I'll be on a case specifically, but they have me assigned so far. I was going back. My friend AirTouch Altanos has a great question. Anyone else whom got the impression from the shot varies in the trailer, like he's noticing the covers of the tombs in the crypts are slowly moving all by themselves? That is an eerie thought that I would have never put that together.
You want to know something? I was thinking about the statues in the crypts coming alive. So that's kind of a really good point. Yeah, I would love to see the crypts come alive. I think they're in the wrong place to be hiding out, first of all. And it's kind of weird. Now, here's my thing. If the crypts rise and the statues rise, and I think it would be the direwolves and the actual kings of Winter, because really, who's in there? And I don't think Catelyn should be in there. That's wrong. She's not a Stark. She's a Tully. Get her out.
That's a show only thing, though.
I know, but still, she shouldn't be in there. She doesn't belong there. They made a big deal about Lyanna being in there. But who do you think they would rise for? The Night King or the Starks? To defend Winterfell or to fight against it?
Well, I think they're there for a different reason completely. But if they were to to rise, they would be. It would depend on who's calling them. For example, if it's Bran or Jon or something that Sam is able to convey to Bran, then that's one thing. But if it's the Night King literally down there and raising them, then they're going to be under the Night King's control.
And see,
But
that's
I do like your thought in regards to the direwolves being part of them coming back.
yeah,
I
because
don't
why
think
wouldn't it
anybody's
happen?
ever talked about that. So
Yeah, they're all down there with them, so why wouldn't they race too? And if you think about it, that was like their companions.
Do you think that they're actually buried though with them, or do you think that they're just the statue of the direwolf?
Well, here's the thing, and a lot of people don't think about this too. No, I think it's actually there. I think it's part of the magic. When you think about Dragonstone, and this is like a book thing, it talks about that there's an army of hellhounds and wyverns. We were just talking about this in book club, in the prologue of A Clash of Kings. And they're everywhere. They're 12 foot tall, but it literally says that there is an army of them. So when you think about waking dragons from stone, we hear that a lot. And so why not? Why couldn't they come to life? The Valyrians used magic to create Dragonstone. So why couldn't there be some magic used to make those dire wolves, which are hellhounds, same thing, come to life in the crypts at Winterfell? Really a fantasy. And so, of course, there is a lot of magic in this story.
Yeah, I think Connie Super mentioned that the wolves were buried in the lich yard outside of the crypts. That was pretty common. That's basically their burial ground for all of the family, whether it be for other house members or in this case the animals. So but that to me would be better than just having this Kings of Winter rise. I've never really liked that idea because I thought it would be too much stealing from Tolkien. I mean, we've already got this Helm's Deep Winterfell feel, with them hiding the children and the older people in the crypts, the people that can't fight. We already have 8 different combinations of armies with the Dothraki and the Unsullied and the people of Winterfell. Now we're going to have also the Lannisters and possibly the Golden Company and et cetera, et cetera. So there's going to be quite a bit of, difference between what I want there to be a distinct difference between Game of Thrones and this battle. I really don't want it to be the same.
Yeah, me too. Because I don't want to see Helm's Deep again. That was something cool that I actually was just watching him talk about yesterday. He was saying, Miguel was saying how he watched it and he watched the different parts and of Helm's Deep when he was to get ideas, and he was like, okay, so what parts are good and where is it losing me? And then that's how he went about to film it, because he wanted to go and take it to the next level. So that way it's like, all right, this would be good, but this would make it better. So I think that's what's going to distinguish it. We're going to get the feel of an awesome battle, but he's just going to take it up a level. And that's another thing I heard too. And this is true. A lot of the best parts of a battle is like when you're following Braun, like whatever you want to call it, because it just depends who you talk to, loot train, some of that's better than just the actual blowing up in bombs and action sequences. I mean, those are great too, but the character point of view actually gets pretty cool sometimes too. That's like, look at Battle of the Bastards. Whenever Jon rushes in and everything's surrounding him, I think that's what made it so great, was just seeing his point of view and his perspective.
The overwhelmingness of it too was
Yeah.
palpable, where you feel like there is no winning this. Jon is in a losing battle, but he's still going forward.
Right. Well, that's Hardhome. Hardhome to me, Hardhome is like one of my favorite episodes ever. And it's because it's one of the most terrifying. And it's that just complete hopelessness. No matter how hard they fought, they could not save all them people. They still fought. They still lost. And then it was just utter silence and defeat. And just that total chill that you get of fear. I mean, that was, to me, that was the scariest part in Game of Thrones, was Hardhome when Jon rise and could do nothing. And I think we're going to see something a lot similar to that happen again too, because I don't see how they're all going to get out of it. There's no way they can all get out of it, and I don't think the Golden Company is going to make it there.
Well, that's one of the things that they used in the Helm's Deep scene, is that Aramir rescued them with Gandalf at the end, and I think that was a big factor where that can happen for this Game of Thrones Winterfell battle. But before I get to that, I just want to say thanks again for all the people that are in the chat. You know, the Imagination Realm, Peter Griffin, Moni G, Linda R, Kolnitsky is here, Carrie McDonald, thank you again. Fake Arya is here, I appreciate that. East Coast Lifestyle, Connie Super, Catherine Hardig, and so many more. I really do want to say thanks for being here. Tolkos 420, speaking of Tolkien, I love that channel name, Tolkos 420. It's so cool. Danny McKay is also here. So Peter Griffin, yeah, thanks so many people. Awesome. T Baby, love you guys. Is there a particular person that we haven't mentioned that you definitely don't want to die? I mean, there's probably everybody, but on the very top scale, who would you really be disappointed if they died?
Valen Morghulis. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. If I'd be sad that they died, I kind of I don't know. It's more like who am yeah, it's like more like who am I going to be sad when they die is more like how I feel about it. Because, okay, like even Melisandre, I expect her to die, but I expect her to bring in all the priestess, and I expect some real magic. I expect that to happen in the Riverlands, though. They didn't show us that teaser for no reason. I think that Ice and Fire will clash and create a new wall there. They didn't show us that dragon glass wall for nothing. Davos. I want Davos to live. I know he's going to die. It's going to break my heart. I want Davos to live, though. That's the one that's going to destroy me. I put it this way. I'm still not fully recovered from Stan Lee dying. And I probably cried and was just depressed for about a week and a half. And it'll probably be close to that for Davos. So
that was a pretty tragic day, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? Oh man, yeah.
I put that on my Instagram because I just felt like he had given so much to the community. So
it was like worse than like 10 dogs dying and grandfather and your uncle and everything all at once. I was like, what is going on in this world?
Yeah.
They're like, it was like 95. I'm like, I don't care. He should live forever. Stanley, man.
Yeah. Davos, I think, is everybody's one of everybody's favorites. I'm really would be surprised to hear Davos not being, especially with the way that they have written his character much better than in the books. I really do like that. So yeah, he would be one of my worst.
Yeah.
Gray Area put something on Twitter the other day about me being like Davos from the show. I thought that was really nice.
Aww.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. She was talking about Game of Thrones content creators and who they remind you of, and so that was pretty great. That was really nice.
Oh, that is. You are like Davos, so I can see it.
Just old.
Just old.
But I got all my fingers, so
You
I'm
got
good.
all your fingers.
Yeah.
We need to get you a little pouch to wear around your neck just because, though. So you can wear your lucky finger bones.
It's funny. I do have a leather pouch for that has the Rohan thing. It's like a coin purse for when I go to like Renaissance festivals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. I don't want to put my fingers in there though. I like my fingers. Yeah. Speaking of which, you've got another set of videos coming out, but I think what you've done in the past is pretty cool, especially with your obsidian research. You've done a lot of really cool stuff, and it's really deep. And I don't want to just pass that up because you really deserve a lot more credit than your subscriber count or your watch time or whatever. This has been a passion of yours, and I really do appreciate it. I just wanted to have you on to show you how much I do appreciate what you've done.
Thank you. And I will, and I have one of my notebooks right here. And I keep saying this, I'm actually going to do one, and I will do one strictly talking, because I keep getting people asking about all the different gems and symbolisms. And I have everything from trees to animals to everything. Like it's almost a sickness how much I've delved into it. And it's on the magical side at that. So when you start hearing it too, it's like, oh yeah, I can definitely see how this relates with Game of Thrones. And it gets really cool. Especially, yeah, like with the obsidians. I love all the obsidian.
Al, Red Sox fan, has taken off. Thank you so much, my friend. So. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to.
Oh, you're okay.
You stopped. My screen froze. I thought that was you stopping. I'm sorry. And Talamasca Dan also came by. Yeah, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate that. And happy St. Patty's Day to you, my friend.
It's always good to have the Talamasca here, you know. I don't know if everyone catches that, but that's like an Anne Rice, reference right there.
Mm-hmm. Something Laughing Shadow would appreciate.
Oh, I appreciate that too. That was like my first love as far as writer. She's the one that got me into reading, was Anne Rice. I fell in love with Lestat. I ain't even gonna lie, but just her whole writing style. It's like I just fell in love with it, and I read everything I could get my hands on of hers, and she ruined me.
Nice. Oh my gosh! Sorry, we're getting some chat stuff I got to clear up.
Oh yeah.
So, in regards to the research, what was your favorite video that you've ever done?
You know what? I had a lot of fun doing the werewood one. That one was just a lot of fun. Now the dragon one was good, but it was just like, I know a lot about Targaryens and stuff in general, but I know a lot about a lot of it. So it's fun talking about all the dragons and stuff. But yeah, I love talking into all the different magics and ones. So probably the werewood one, I think that was the most fun. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to mute myself
so
you
okay.
can keep the screen from refreezing. So I apologize. Basically,
I'm trying to mentally go through my head. I'm like, yeah.
So why do you think specifically dragons was used by George? If you don't mind me, total. Oh my gosh, Mrs. Cronall's here. Thank you so much for coming by. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you. Best wishes. Big internet hugs to you and your family. So grateful that you came by on this special day. Thank you.
I take dragons. I take a lot because it's fire made flesh, and fire is life. I mean, it's a good representation of life because fire is alive. And it was just a good way to bring magic to life, basically, because with the birth of dragons, we get the birth of magic again into the world. So especially with an opposition to Winter and the others and everything. I think it just kind of works good to balance it as kind of a, and we do see other magics too. That's the weird thing about it, and we just don't really notice so much, because I mean, like we see, you know, the water with the Roynish, and even spirit, you know, with Sweet Robin and all that, the telepathic stuff going on. And but I think the fire though is because of the life, you know, fire is alive more than any other element, and especially when it comes down to against ice. Ice is usually represented, you know, death, and it just kind of it goes. There's a lot of yin and yang in the entire world, actually.
I agree. As far as the symbolism for fantasy, you kind of have to have dragons. The problem I think is in making it so that they're not OP. You don't want to have it to where they do everything and then you just sit back and you could just rule any way you want, right? There has to be some sort of a balance.
Right. Which is why I think they have to tame them and bond with them and do the different things that they do, and only keep the magic pure, keep the bloodlines pure. And only certain people are even able to ride them still, you know. Not everybody can bond with a dragon.
Yeah, well, they can bond with them in a different way that Dany showed with all the leaders of Marine, right?
Yeah.
We're going to bond from the inside.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, what was the other thing that you liked as far as the fantasy part? Because there is an awful lot.
Oh, I do. Oh man, let's see. And this is kind of a little weird thing, and I don't know if anyone really notices this. Like to me, I see how the different houses, the people resemble. They're like, okay, for example, dire wolves, the Starks, dire wolves, they kind of resemble wolves, like even physically. And they take on the characteristics of their houses. And in in my mind, especially when I'm reading, I can see it even more. So like when you think of the lion, the way that their faces are and stuff like that, they just kind of start to take on characteristics and behavioral wise too. And it's like they're almost living lions. And I think a lot of that is tied into the magic of it and the fantasy of it, going back to the breedings and the bloodlines back as far as Garth Green Hands. And like even we hear about in the Ballast Islands about how they used to breed the women with the different animals and all. So were they just trying to imitate what already existed is what I wonder. So with Garth the Green Hands like spreading his seed everywhere, was he creating these houses like that? You know what I mean?
God, I hope not.
Right. So that's something that, like, you know, kind of you don't think about, but you know,
I don't even want to think about it, to be honest with you.
right. But I think about it with some of the major houses. It's the major houses particularly that I think about.
Okay.
But then you see like the ones in Sisterton and stuff like that, where they have the webbed hands and all that. And it makes me think even more, you know, maybe they are, you know. Yeah, it's just little things like that that it makes you curious. You see the magic all involved in it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I like the way that he shows that magic isn't always magic. It's just the way we perceive it.
Right.
It's a real nice touch that he's added. Peter Griffin asked, do you think the Night King and the Three-Eyed Raven were made at the same time and only showed us one so far? That is a crazy question.
That
Totally
is.
interesting. But I think we have the Green Seers as being before the Night King was made, if I'm not mistaken, the way I understand it. And the Night King
Mhm.
was only made as a result. But we're talking about the Night King from the show versus the Night King the way it was presented, because the Night Queen is the first white that we see in all of history. So keep that in mind, Peter.
And also, he said the three-eyed raven. So, would the three-eyed raven be the same as just the green seer? You know, because that's something that we often wonder.
You don't think there's this? There are two different things. Like any average green seer and then any average three-eyed raven. They're different.
Well, here's the thing. Like there was the question that Ocean brought up and all before of how do you know that you can trust a three-eyed raven? So even though, and Blood Raven is even like, huh? You know, he didn't even know really what he was talking about. So even though the three-eyed raven did lead Bran down into the crypts where Hodor was even afraid to go, how do we know that the three-eyed raven was Blood Raven leading him there and not just the Night King sort of thing going? Because it seems a little off. So they possibly could be the same thing, and that could have been him leading Bran to Blood Raven. Because Blood Raven does just seem to be confused by the whole three-eyed raven bit, you know?
In regards to Hodor, I think the reason why he is afraid to go there is because that's his vision. That's where he's going to hold the door, not because of him being afraid of anything.
No, I'm talking about when he don't want to go down in the crypt, so Bran gets Osha to go down there
Right.
right after Ned dies.
Right, but that's because of his memory from when he started saying Hodor is when he keeps he knows that that's where he has to hold the door, not because that's the reason why he freaked out and messed up his brain.
Right. Yeah.
It's not up north where the show took him.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Kolnitsky's or says the Night Queen is a female White Walker. Well, if that's the case, then how did she become a White Walker? Is my question to you, because the Night Queen was never a Walker before then mentioned. So keep that in mind. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding the comment, but that's the way I look at it.
Well, there is mention, and it's in the World of Ice and Fire of the Dustins and the Barrows, about the first kings being in the Barrows, and they have a curse put on them that makes them look half corpse-like, and is still carried on, actually. But that's where the first king was buried. So there's a lot of speculation that the Night Queen could have came from that bloodline right there, and that could be what her curse was, and their curse was it made them others.
That's another thing that George takes from Tolkien is the Barrows. The Barrow Whites were part of the story, and they were caused by the oh my gosh, I totally blanked on their name. The guys with the black clothes. I forget. They were all men. The 13 men. They were whites also. But anyways,
oh yeah.
That he's the one that caused the whites to be there and captured Frodo and Sam and Pippin. Yes, the ring wraiths. Oh gosh, how did I do that? I'm so sorry. Thank you, Connie Super, for rescuing me. Yes, the Nazgul. Yes, the leader of the Nazgul was the one that caused the whole Barrows in the Tolkien story, and that's one of the things that is definitely taken right out of Tolkien from George's writing is the Barrows, because that's the very first time that we see the first men and the Starks battling was Duskendale. So
Yeah.
Sorry about that. The Nazgul.
Okay.
How did I miss that? Anyways, are you a Tolkien fan?
You know what? Okay. Here's the thing. I am to a degree, but I don't know it like some of y'all know it. I have all the movies and stuff like that, and I've watched them probably 15 times each. And I tried to get my kids to watch them, and they're like, and I'm like, you just got to stick with it. There's really good parts. And they're just like, but mom. So I'm like, all right, I give up. But I have not seen The Hobbit. And I don't know how I've not seen The Hobbit. So now I feel like I need to go back and binge them all again.
Well, I think I've seen all 3 of them on the same day 15 times.
Yeah, that's what I do. I sit there and binge them is what I do. I've got the box set.
When The Hobbit came out, they actually had them in the movie theater, all 3 in a row, and you got to see 12 hours of Lord of the Rings, which was just one of my best days ever. I mean, I think I ate 4 boxes of popcorn that day or something, but it was so much fun.
I always just say all they're doing is just walking, and then they'll see some cool shit, and it'll happen, and then they're walking some more, and then oh, there goes the ring. Okay, and then Frodo and Sam just kind of make googly eyes at each other, and it's over. There, now you've seen it.
12 hours later.
Yeah, you saved your time now.
I think one of the great things about the combination of that story and this one is the world building. We know so much about their jewelry, their crowns, their swords or other weapons. Anything like that, I think, is just a great familiarity with the story, including food. I think that's one of the great things that they have in common too.
Oh yeah.
So in regards to the show, obviously you have a super high anticipation. What do you think is going to happen in regards to the very first thing you want to see?
Okay, let's see.
I
Where
caught
did
you
we
off
leave
guard,
off?
huh?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. Because well, after how they started with Arya last season, it's just kind of hard to top that. So, well, okay, I know that I'm very interested to see Sam and Jorah see each other again, but I kind of want to see Lyanna like get on to Jorah. Like, I want to see her reaction to him because I don't think it's going to be so sweet. The thing I'm most excited about, though, I guess, would probably be like everybody else. And I want to see Jon find out about his parentage. Just because I want to see his reaction. And if he tells Dany, I don't even know that he will, actually. I think he might just keep it to himself. But you know what? I kind of thought that he would find out long ago by like one of the dragons like shooting flame on him and him not getting burnt like she did. So that would be a better way, I think. But that's probably not going to happen. That's in my pile of wishes and hopes and dreams.
I think that would be a great way to start it. Is when they finally do get to Winterfell and Bran's like, Jon, I got to tell you something.
Yeah.
Stop doing that. Stop.
Stop making out with your aunt.
Yeah, that's gross. That's so gross.
Sansa's just like, oh, please. We've been around Lannisters. That's nothing new. Oh, my God.
Seen that, done that. Yeah.
Right.
That's how the story started. Remember, Jon?
Yeah. Just don't push me out the window, Jon. Just don't push me out the window.
The imagination realm says, I want Little Bear to go off on Jorah. I agree 100%.
Oh man, she's so going to give him hell too, because they're all nice and cool with them and stuff, but she's going to be like, oh hell no, she ain't going to be cool with them. She's going to rip him a new one, because she's going to remember why he was exiled, She's the one that's been having to step up because her mother died, her sister died, off while he's off with his little whore over in Essos. So what's he been doing while she stepped up? Yeah, no, she ain't gonna be okay with it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that one. She's gonna wipe that smile right off his face.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The imagination realm, that is awesome. Carrie McDonald is taken off. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I do have awesome followers, and I follow all of you. So thank you for being here, Linda R. I totally 100% agree. Oh, that is awesome. So we've got Jorah getting told off. We've got Jorah's going to live, according to Karen Pierre. So
it'd be pretty. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty cool if he got his grayscale back and he just went on nuts on everybody.
He's got grayscale so bad that he can kill everybody and not be affected. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it would just be cool for it to like re-trigger and him to go nuts on whites. But no, I don't think he's gonna live. Jorah's got to die. He's got to die. No,
he's definitely on my dead list, my Deadpool list.
Yeah, he's on my Deadpool list too. Yeah, he's got to go. Nope. Chomo's got to go. Yeah.
Poor Karen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jorah this war was great for a while, but no. I wanted to bring him home to my mom. That's all.
Wow.
It's like, oh, he'd be cute for my mom, but no, I can't do it. Yeah, and like T Baby always says, he's touching shit. So no, he's got to go. Stop touching everything.
Lady Dreamfire asked, don't know if this was asked, but do you think Brienne will make it?
You know what? No, I used to want her to be Sansa's queen guard, and I think because everyone thinks Jaime's going to die in her arms, I think it's going to be the other way around, and she'll die in Jaime's arms. The reason I think that her oath to Catelyn was to die, she swore that she would die protecting Sansa. This is whenever that they thought Arya was gone, missing, dead, whatever. She swore an oath to Catelyn to die protecting Sansa, and I think that's what'll happen.
I'd like to see her live, but then again, like you said, they'll all make me cry when they die. So,
right?
But she's one that I'm pulling for because she's so unusual. I think having someone that is so loyal and is able to walk the line between the Starks and the Lannisters and still survive is a feat of its own. But then to be,
and the Baratheons, yeah. But it's too good to be true. That's why I think it will happen. It's too good to be true. She should be. She should be Lord Commander of the new Kingsguard and everything. But it won't happen. Yeah, Queensguard. But it won't happen, I don't think. Because it should. And what?
I was just saying Brandon's in the chat, so thank you for being here.
Oh yeah, hey Brandon.
Yeah. We also have been asked a lot in these live streams about the third aha moment. What's the big reveal? Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, and I come back and forth to this one. I think it's going to have something to do with the past, actually. What I'd like it to be is I'd like it to be that Sam is Jon's brother too. He's the real Aegon and he's alive. But yeah, I think that would be a great reveal actually. But I don't know. I don't know what it could be at this point. Other than
you think that because he's the reader of books and he's also very gentle and that sort of thing?
I think he'd fit. Okay. I think between Elia, being his mother, and Rhaegar being his father, I think he would fit perfectly as their child. Placing him with Randall Tarly would be the perfect place to hide him because he was the best and in his house and all that, you know. So of course, especially after Ares was dead, and you know, it just makes sense. I can see it happening. If he thought there was no hope and of a Targaryen restoration, and he didn't have to deal with them, and he thought he was weak anyways, why would Randall follow a weak king? He wouldn't. So he sent him to the wall. I just think that would be a great reveal. If it's not that, then I think it's probably, and I think it's probably anyways, going to have something to do with who the Night King is in his past. Howland Reed is just a myth at this point. I don't think we're going to see him maybe in a flashback from Harrenhal, the attorney, but
Right. Uh-oh.
and I think everybody thinks he's a Stark, so is it really going to be a surprise with that?
The only thing I don't like about the Sam being a Fagon, or an Aegon, I should say,
Yeah.
is what you said, is because of the fact that Randall worked so hard to make him a man. I don't think he would have done that and cared whether he was the heir or not.
If he was to raise a future king, though, then wouldn't he want him to be a strong king? Someone that he could follow, and it could be a good battle commander. Maybe that was what he was tasked to do when he was placed there.
Possibly. Yeah, I see what you're saying. If he was responsible for it. Plus, I think that he would have been visited by other people that weren't mentioned in the book. Obviously, we got, you know, the warlocks and that sort of thing. But we didn't see anybody that was like Lannister or Tarly or anybody, you know, or Stark for that matter. Nobody of any real value visited the Tarleys in that time.
Right.
And that has happened with Jon. And Jon didn't even know it. So that's one of the reasons why I don't think that. But that would be an interesting, it would definitely be shocking to everybody.
Oh, yeah. But especially when you think about, and well, there's something special about Sam anyways, because when the White Walkers walked right past him, why would they not notice him?
I don't think that it wasn't a matter of not noticing him. I think they did notice him. I think it was just they were on a mission to get to the fist, period.
But he would have been just an easy kill, though. Yeah, but they could have just been done with him. It makes me think back to. It makes me think back to Craster blood, and it's something in the blood. And that's like even when the wall was finally starting to, when the wall was ready to fall, let's put it that way. Try and say that 5 times fast. Think about all the dragons that died. We had Aemon that died, Shireen was burned, Stannis was burned, and then Jon Snow died. Sam was sent away, or if you go by the books, then Aemon was sent away too. And even Gilly, who was Craster's kid, and Monster. So all of them have dragon's blood in them. Now, all this time, and then Bloodraven too, and all of these were dragons at the wall. Now you think about the dragon presence at the wall for this entire time too. And then whenever they're all gone, that's when winter really comes. And that's when Stannis is trying to march to beat the winter snows and everything. They burn Shireen to try and melt the snow. That's what melts the snow, right? For a second. But then winter comes right after. So it's like it's like the Targaryen, the dragon presence at the wall is kind of what was helping protect the magic. It was making the magic stronger.
I think the third reveal is going to be interesting because I thought for sure it was going to be about the Night King and who he was and that sort of thing a little bit more.
Yeah.
But as we got the information about the Long Night, the prequel, I don't think that's going to happen. More than likely, I think it's going to be the dragon killing the mountain. Or it'll be something about the mountain, whether it's, I hope it's not the Clegane Bowl. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, me either.
But after Entertainment Weekly put them both on the cover, it's like, how do you,
It's fan service at this point.
it's so, anyways. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's going to be something about the mountain, whether it's Robb Stark's head on the mountain, whether it's
nice.
whether it's something like that. So you just never know.
Because yes, his head was at King's Landing.
Plus, we know that Qyburn was pretty interested in getting the heads from the dwarf collection.
Yeah, that's what I thought about too, was the dwarf heads. Yeah. He's like, no, I'll take that one. Yeah. Who Beric will give the kiss of life to,
though? I think that's a really good question, especially now. But I was just going to say the One True David Adams Bud Light commercial ending confirmed.
Yeah, dilly dilly. I was thinking that when I seen that commercial, I was like, oh, foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's very possible it could be the Hound because as far as Beric Dondarrion, because they've changed that dynamic of the show quite a bit, and they've made the Hound now pretty much a follower of her lore. So,
yeah,
as far as we know, he could have already been brought back to life from him possibly dying from the fire to begin with. We saw that. We have several characters like Bran who have died or been close to death and brought back to life for a reason. And I think Sandor is one of them. So absolutely. But that would be a great reveal if we got to see Robb's head on the mountain. I do like the idea of bringing back Khal Drogo, even if it's just for a little bit, because I think D&D love to do the kind of tributes to certain actors and actresses, like Roz being in the show for as long as she was, just because she was liked by them. Lena Headey obviously is loved by them, so she gets a lot of the screen time. So does Michelle Fairley. I think that's one of the reasons they brought her in as well.
Speaking of her, okay, I'm gonna go all Stoneheart here. Well, I was watching past, because I do this, I rewatch stuff all the time. I was watching one of the past interviews from season 7, and it was with interview with Littlefinger, and I forget who was sitting with him, but it was Bran, and they were talking about Catelyn coming back, and in the future seasons, and just the way he said it, it was like he was kind of surprised that she wouldn't be making an appearance. So first thought I had was, of course, the Brienne and Arya scene where we see what looks like Catelyn walk behind. And then I thought again back to Arya in the crypts looking terrified. And I thought, are we maybe going to get a little Lady Stoneheart tease about it? And I know we all want it. I know we all do. But it would be really cool. And so I was rewatching The Red Wedding also the other day. And where she's silent as opposed to screaming and clawing her eyes out in the books when he walks up and slits her throat. What if she was actually screaming in the show? They just did all that. We just don't see it, because he, it might have been what actually happened. They just didn't portray it all. Like maybe that could be our big reveal. Is Catelyn's really been around this whole time?
That would be great. I would like that. I mean,
right? That'd be like so great. I bet George would like that too, because he's been complaining this whole time about no Stoneheart.
I just think that we would have like a note passed or something. We've had a couple of occasions where we think, we could see somebody, like I think it was in 5, the beginning of 5, we got to see a woman going through Winterfell, and we thought maybe that was her. But I think we would have seen something like that to give us a clue. But Michelle has been dead quiet on coming back. I think we would have also seen her at the airport or something, you know, during a film.
Yeah.
Unless
Maybe.
they filmed it in London or wherever she, you know, is working.
Right. Maybe sound stages are amazing things these days. But yeah, that goes in my wishes and hopes and dreams pile again. But yeah, I think that would be a really cool reveal to do.
Yeah, Air Touch talks about Cersei, and so does Fandom D Saint. We gotta give them props for loving on Cersei.
I love her too. She's great. I can't help it.
Air Touch says Cersei threatened Littlefinger with slitting his throat by her men. Power is power scene. Then Littlefinger actually died by his throat being slit. Yeah, she called it. She called it.
And I think another thing with Cersei that will be revealed in season 8 is that she's the one that set the cat's paw. I do think that will happen. Where she's talking about she's got a few things that she needs recovering. I think that is one thing she is mentioning.
See, I think what she's referring to, if you don't mind me saying so, is Sansa.
I think that too, but I think
that's one of the reasons why I thought she was at the throne room in that picture that Marie sent. No?
Yeah, Sansa in that picture.
Yeah, when they see the empty the throne room is almost empty except for what's on the throne itself.
Right.
And it's just the mountain. You definitely see Euron, the Harry Strickland character.
Right.
And then the redheaded on the right. I think that's Sansa.
That's how she wears her hair too. I like that. I like that idea. Yeah.
Oh, good. Because I thought you were I thought you were saying no before. You thought might have been.
Oh no! I didn't hear that part. That was one of the parts where you broke up a little bit. Yeah. No, I don't think
it was a strategic freeze.
I heard Red Priestess, and I don't think it's a Red Priestess. That's the one I'm like, no. I don't think the Red Priestess part. I think the Red Priestess would be coming with someone else other than the Golden Company.
Yes.
But I think that's why she called them. Yeah, I think she wants to go snatch Sansa. But think about it. She knows that Sansa married Tyrion too. And if she does need an heir, then Sansa would be who she would want if you think about it, because she trained her. She probably thinks she can still control her or at least carry on the Lannister name. Because she is setting up a dynasty. She knows what she's doing. So why wouldn't she want Sansa? And I swear Sansa's going to flip. I've been saying it for years. And she is. I don't trust her. Look at even how Bran greeted her. Bran just seen her after years and wouldn't even move his arms to hug her. It's the only person he didn't hug.
That is an interesting catch, but I think it was just the weirdness of Bran. For me, it was.
Well, yeah, Bran's weird like that anyways, but no, it's Sansa. I'm telling you, she's going to flip. And she tried Jon in front of everybody, all the lords like that, questioning him. And just her behavior is just no. And she can't even. Come on, every other lord in the north knows you pass the sentence, you swing the sword. What does she do? She lets Arya do it. She can sit there and smile and laugh about it. That's some Cersei stuff right there. No.
Peter Griffin says Bran hugs Arya, so why not? Yep. You know, so
right. Yeah, but he doesn't.
Catch. Peter's got a couple of really good stuff out there. So
yeah. He's got some good stuff.
Questions in the comments, right?
Right.
That's
giggity.
What you're referring to?
Oh, yeah, giggity. Oh.
Linda R says, is Tyrion a traitor? That's an interesting question.
Oh, yeah, that is an interesting question, because what is going on with Tyrion? I think Cersei is once again trying to mess with Tyrion, and then he's going to catch on to what she's doing because, okay, Tyrion's been hurt the most by two people, Tywin and Cersei. So I'm just waiting for whatever she said to click, and I think it will as soon as he sees Jaime. Then he's going to realize, oh, man, she got me again. And that's when, like I said, I think him and Sansa will kind of come together. Now, Sansa's already gone at this point and she snatches Sansa, then that's really going to piss him off. And I could see that too. But I don't see him. I want him to survive because I think he'd be a great king. I think he'd be a great hand. And they are making Funko Pops with Tyrion on the throne. Just saying. Team Tyrion, by the way. Team Tyrion.
They also make them with the Night King on the throne. So
you know what? They made the Night King, Dany, Jon, Cersei, and Tyrion. Of all people, Tyrion. So I just thought that was interesting.
Well, I think the reason that is, on all seriousness, is that he's the #1 listed actor on the credits. So
yeah.
Keep that
it's
in mind.
because he's awesome. Yeah, Peter
True.
Dinklage. Yeah, he is. He's awesome. But I think if he's going, I think she's probably trying to get him to betray Dany. But I think he's going to remember, and I think that line about tasting ashes in your mouth is going to come back. It's going to come back.
Fandom D Saint chimed in. Someone say Funko? Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Funko, baby.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a great question, because we see that Tyrion has a family loyalty, but then we also see that he killed his father, and he said that about his sisters, thinking that she would have the victory and turning to ashes.
Yep. Just when you think. Yep.
T Baby asks, will Dany forgive Jaime for killing her father?
I think she'll understand. I think it'll bother her, and I think that she'll understand. But and I think once it's all said and I don't think she'll like it at first, but I think once it's all said and done, like maybe he'll save her life or something that'll make her be like, you know what? All right, you're all right. Just at first she's going to be kind of that dragon queen with him, but then it's going to be okay,
I don't think that she cares. I don't think she has as deep of a connection with her father. She knows that her father was crazy because of Barristan. So I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
No, I was going to say Tyrion did mention that to her. He brought up why it happened. Mm-hmm. So she does know why it happened and that it was to save all those people. So I think, I don't think she can be mad at him other than the fact she just didn't have a father. But for what he was doing and what her father was doing, I think she's probably better off. I think if she should be mad at anyone, it would just be Robert. But Robert's dead, so get over it, Let it go, let it go.
AirTouch mentions the shot with a bow belonging to Arya shooting an arrow, maybe to the mountain in the face in the throne room. Or even better, she shoots Cersei, and before she flees, she catches and strangles her. There was a person that sent me an email and was listening to a live stream, and I mentioned the picture that I thought was Marie from Game of Theories with Marie that sent me, but it was actually someone from allunreal.com, I think it is, and I apologize if I got that wrong, but he sent a picture of the Harry Strickland character. If you look at the picture on the boat, you'll see that he has the same covering of the hand. The only thing is that picture that, because Geek pointed out, the fingernails look kind of long, and so that might be something strange too, because there has been someone that has mentioned that it might be, I know, it was Khaleesi Clues said that it might be Cersei that's actually on the boat with the Golden Company. But if that's the case, then you wouldn't see the throne room with both the Harry Strickland character and Cersei on the throne. So there's kind of a combination there. But I don't think that Arya is going to be at the throne room shooting the mountain or Cersei. I think if if Arya is going to kill Cersei, it'll be close up.
Yeah, me too. And
That was a long-winded answer. I'm sorry.
oh no, that's good. And I'm glad you brought up that about on the boat too, because yeah, I see where she said that too. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because of the hair. And I actually went and I sat there and freeze framed it and looked at it and looked at it. Here's why I don't think it's Cersei. Number one, the little hand strap, it wasn't her rings. Cersei always has some rings on. Number two, it does look like he's wearing some sort of dress, but not necessarily, we'll say, man skirt, I guess.
Kilt
but
like.
right, dress like. But there's no way Cersei would be caught dead in what he's wearing.
Fashion faux pas.
Yeah, no, because it's like totally no way. And if you do look at the hands are kind of manly. So yeah, I was like, I was kind of hoping for it though. I was like, that would be cool. But no, I think it is where they're coming in to King's Landing right there. And what was kind of cool though about that shot is if you notice the clouds behind it, they're bringing in the storm with them. So I was like, oh yeah, you're on. Bring the storm, you know.
The Westerosi Ninjas here. Thank you for being here, Milt. I appreciate it. He says Jaime equals the 1,000 Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
Yes. See, that's what I'm screaming. I agree.
That would be interesting if they were still to have a Night's Watch, isn't it?
Well, I think they will. I really do, because I don't think it's going to end. I think whatever does resolve itself with the Night King doesn't mean it's going to stop. I think it's just going to put it at bay, the long night at bay, until next time. I mean, we know it's happened before. And like I said, I always think about the House Tolan because we see the dragon eating its tail. And it's to remind us that history repeats itself. And we've seen the Five Force. We know about the Red Waste. We've heard about Azor Ahai, the Roynish. And when the Roy froze over and they sang the secret song, we know this has all happened before. So this is just the next time that it's happened. So, yeah, the one wall has been compromised. We've seen in the teaser trailer another wall getting created in the Riverlands. So I think that's what's going to happen now. And, you know, it's just, that's going to be the new Night's Watch. And yeah, I think Jaime's the perfect Lord Commander for it.
Nice. Yeah. Peter Griffin said, I thought the Grey Worm's hand was a woman's hand in season 7 trailer also, when he was sharpening the blade. And that is something, because Geek said too, Val was talking about that in her last video. She did like a 45-minute breakdown of the trailer.
It was great,
one of
by the way.
Yeah. Hopefully she'll come on. I think the 29th or the 30th is a possibility for her, but we'll see how that goes. I don't want to commit her to anything because she's got a crazy schedule just like everybody else. So, and she does so much great work on Twitch and also YouTube. So, looking forward to how this is going to break down for the rest of the month, because we're getting pretty excited about the season 8, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I know, and it's almost here too. Everybody started their countdowns. You got the people that are doing it by the weeks on Sunday, and then people doing it by the days. It's like, all right, let's just do it. I told my husband, I'm like, I'll be in here hopping to give you 11s, and then I'll be in there to throw food at the kids. The rest of the time is just Game of Thrones for like the next few months. So you know,
it's only 6 weeks, right? You could
right. Well, I'm shooting all the way to con now, so like, you know what it is, honey. You know what it is.
Yeah, definitely. I really have enjoyed Val's work, because she does like a microscopic look at every picture. And then the weird thing is that she talks about the directors and who and when what episode is going to be directed by that person and what they've directed in the past, and kind of assimilates what probably will happen, and it's been pretty close. So I enjoy that kind of work. Did I freeze again? Looks like I'm totally.
Yeah, no, Val to me is like, I'm not spoiling, I'm investigating. So that's the only ones that I will even watch because she's just really good at it. She really is. All them flaming swords, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So I keep freezing here, so I don't want to hold people up and give them a bad video. Okay. And we have been on for over 2 hours. I can't believe it's been that long.
I know. Let me bring up Grey Worm, being we mentioned him real quick. I want to say what I think is going to happen there.
Good.
So Missandei can't fight, can she? Right. So I think it would be most powerful if he sees her die and then he goes and out and he just whoops some butt. And I don't know. He'll probably die too, but I think she needs to die first for it to mean something.
You think Missandei is going to die?
Yeah.
Can you give me an idea?
It's always just standing there. So if their love is all powerful and they feel, and that's being all portrayed in the trailer, wouldn't that make him fight harder and more powerfully if the thing that he fears the most is losing her and he lost her?
Yeah, that he did say that in 7, that it was his fear, that she was his fear. But man, that would be awful.
It would be awful. That's why I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, honestly, I really thought in the books that she was a faceless person.
I think in the book she's one of the children.
One of the children of the forest.
Yeah.
Oh.
Description. She knows all the languages. Huh?
Like glamored? Because obviously the children would look totally different than someone from.
Oh, not necessarily. See, well, there's children all over the known world too. And I think they probably fit different regional descriptions too. But no, even her description, I mean, it talks about her eye color. And a lot of times when you hear about the golden eyes, or even like the green eyes and the red eyes with the green seers, it usually has a lot to do with the singers, but the fact that she's so young and knows that many languages and is that smart, and she's just really suspicious, and no, it just seems to fit with. Plus, it would make sense for one of the singers to be around Dany and keeping an eye on things there. It just seems like there should be someone in place there with her.
That's an interesting. I never thought of her as a child of the forest. I thought for sure faceless man, just because right after Dany was an attempted assassination with the bastard.
Yeah.
That we would have the that we got Missandei, and that was the reason why I thought for sure she was a faceless person. But she's way too young to know as much as she does.
Right. She's very childlike. And it doesn't seem like she's grown at all. even as much time has passed too. It's like she hasn't grown at all in the book.
10 years later.
Yeah, and she's still 10.
Milt says C-3PO is the first with being fluent in 6.2 languages. 6.2 million languages. Yes. She is a C-3PO for sure. Yeah. Great way to bring in Star Wars to a Game of Thrones live stream. I love it.
I know, right?
Well, I do want to say thank you for being here. Please check out Rhee Venjenz. I don't know if you've put any comments in the chat, but if you don't know how to find her, her channel is in the description. So definitely check that out. Go say hi and subscribe if you are enjoying this video. And thank you for coming by on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening or Sunday morning, wherever you are. And I just really appreciate your time. It's been a real pleasure talking with you. And I hope that you'll come back again sometime.
Oh, yes, definitely. Thank you. And same goes to you. You're going to have to come on and chat with me sometimes.
I am always willing to collaborate. If you go to my YouTube page and look at the playlist, one of my playlists is the collaborations I've done with every other channel out there. And the list is huge because I'm always willing to talk Game of Thrones, Westworld, Star Wars.
We were actually supposed to do a Westworld one together about the one on Dr. Ford. And I don't even remember what happened, but something was scheduling and I didn't get to do it with you. With you and Johnny, actually.
Nice.
So yeah, that was supposed to happen a while ago. So yeah, we will definitely pick a subject anytime.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for everybody that's been here and watching. And I know this has been a long one, but I've really enjoyed it. And thanks for all the great guests that people have been in the chats. Fandom D Saint, Milt from the Westerosi Ninjas here, Lady Dreamfire, Brandon is here, Elko DeBoer, Gray Area, Teflon TV was here. Who else? I mean, the list goes on. Linda R, just non-stop. T Baby, of course, Laving Shadow. The list, like I said, goes on and on. So many great people for being here. I just really appreciate you being here. It's got me where I can't even talk. So I'm very grateful is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you. I'm grateful too. It was fun. Anytime. Oh, and Stacy, I see you out there too. So I want you to know I was thinking about little baby Eden today and wore my Hello Kitty shirt. I don't know if you can see it so much because it's gray, but so yeah, today I wore my Hello Kitty thinking about baby Eden.
And you have the Hello Kitty because it's part of Game of Thrones?
No. You know what? And I always wear Game of Thrones too. And I was like, what is St. Patrick's Day? Let's do my Hello Kitty one because I seen the cute little baby.
Nice.
So yeah, I was thinking about Stacy's little baby.
Congratulations again, Stacy. That's awesome. I hope that we get to see more of you as well on Game of Thrones videos. So
you'll be seeing her next week going over Dunk and Egg, actually.
Do you know when that's going to happen?
We're waiting. She's on the last book now, so we're waiting on her to finish that, and we'll be doing that sometime in the next week. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, we'll stay tuned. We will stay tuned for sure.
Yep, I will put that up. I'll put that link up as soon as I'll post it in Geek Chat and everywhere else too. Twitter, Instagram, all the places. It'll be everywhere. But yeah, she's on the last book now, and we're actually going to do a phone call about it and go over it. And so yeah, it'll be in the next week.
Well, thanks again for being here. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Celebrate it safely, and we'll see you again tomorrow on another live stream about Game of Thrones Season 8.